Levels is good. All right. So Daily Go Get Business Show all up in your area. Feeling like a real man should. Ugh. All right. Hold on, y'all. Let's get it started. We came here to get started. The code act ill or get retarded. Let's make sure that we set up properly here. Pretty Petty Tuesday. Pretty Petty Tuesday all up in your area. Get It Business Show. We talking about people who've been on the job for 10 plus years, 15, 20, 30, retirement. All right, let's rip it. Keep a job. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily. It's the daily go-get-emism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing, taking all fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about keeping a job long term tonight, and the people who can't keep a job to save their life, can't provide for the kids or wife. Yeah, they scrambling job to job, getting fired, laid off, can't do nothing, still to rob. It's a sad state of affairs. Meanwhile, granddaddy been on the job for 40 years, retired, got the gold watch. Shit is crazy, getting paid top notch. But some people be on jobs for decades and still ain't really making enough to call themselves paid. So what was keeping them there? Yeah, they were about to retire, yeah. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Hold on, let me get this part of it right. Because I don't trust that to be okay for the long haul. Yeah, I think I trust that a little bit more. I think I trust that a little bit more. So y'all understand what we're talking about. You know, been on the job, at the same job for 10 plus years. I've known people, and I'm sure that y'all have known people who have been on the same job at the same job for decades. Now, you know, in today's economy, especially the way corporations are set up now with all of the outsourcing, with all of the downsizing, with all of the imports and importing and exporting. Is it called when we send jobs overseas? That's called export. Is that imported? No. Is that outsourcing? Outsourcing jobs? Yeah. Well, we're outsourcing industry, which takes away local jobs or American jobs, or however you want to term it. But you know, we've seen a lot of this in the last 30 years or so, especially since the Bush Senior administration. We saw a lot of jobs get outsourced, you know, overseas, especially like the clothing industry. Hardly anything is made in the United States anymore. You know, I guess you Americans just charge too much to make clothes. But anyway, so when you see somebody or know somebody who has been on a job for, you know, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and it doesn't have the same, I don't know if it still has the same sexiness as it may have had back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, back in the day when you knew somebody, you know, when somebody was on a job for years, you knew that job had job security. You knew that more than likely the job that the person was on was a decent job. It may have been a union job. It was a job that had staying power. You know, they may have been skilled labor or something like that in an industry that was relevant to not only back when they first got the job, but to right up until today. But then, you know, you have to think about it like, well, how is it that the company that you work for is still around? Because so many companies that were existent 50 years ago, they're not around anymore. Like when I was younger, I never thought we would see the day when IBM wasn't a thing. You know, that was like a great job. I don't even know what jobs were available at IBM. All we knew was that was a company that was a prestigious company because it was a computer company, and computers were the wave back then, and they were definitely considered to be the wave of the future. So you worked at IBM. It was a very strong company, and you know, we didn't think that today there would be no IBM. Well, they're sort of like an IBM. That, you know, they make what did they change their name to? I got one of these laptops. Shit. Starts with an L. Lenovo. I haven't heard the term Lenovo in a long time. Lenovo. But yeah, so a company like IBM, if you were working for IBM in 1980, it was like, oh, yo, you are the shit. You work for a great company. You must be making a bunch of money. We didn't know that we would see a day when there is no IBM. There ain't none. It's gone. Pan American Airlines, gone. There was a time when Pan American Airlines was the shit. More than United, more than American Airlines, you know? So when you see somebody that has been on a job for so many years, you're wondering like, wow, what is it about this business, this industry, their business practices that will allow for a person to be on the job for that long? And what is the pay? What is the pay differential if you started a job all the way back in the 80s up until now? We talking about 40 years or so. You know how, like, what could it be? What businesses do we know that are still relevant from the 80s until now? That ain't easy. You know, like look at a company like AT&T. AT&T was definitely out in the 80s, but it was a long distance company. And AT&T was dead in the water. Dead in the water. So you know somebody who works for AT&T today, you figure, oh, okay, they work in an industry that's definitely relevant today. But when you really check the history of AT&T, like a company like AT&T, you realize that AT&T was dead. And what brought it back to life was Singular Wireless. Singular Wireless was if you remember the company, Singular Wireless, cell phones, they had really good plans, the rollover plans. That they're the ones who came up with the rollover plans, and they decided to buy AT&T and name their company AT&T instead of Singular Wireless because AT&T was internationally known, more internationally known. So they got rid of a lot of people who worked for AT&T. None of the people who are working for AT&T now are the people who were working for AT&T when it was a long distance company. So, you know, you have to take these kinds of things into consideration. And I'm not any kind of business guru or expert or anything like that. I just remember some things and know some things. Let me get this hardware out of the way and we can get started. Let's go ahead and get this thing together. I see we coming in late tonight. That's all right. You know what I mean? That's okay. But regardless of all of that, I need y'all to do me just one favor. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. T Carry right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site. And Jeff Sprayberry, my peoples, what's going on? How you feeling, my man? And Murder Business is murder. Let's see. Jeff says, some people stay at jobs because they're just afraid of change. Glad you said that, because that is something that you have to take into consideration. A lot of people have done that, especially depending on where you're from, you know, because like if you live somewhere out in the sticks or like in rural America, you don't have, if you want to stay out there, you have to sort of accept that there aren't a lot of industries that are going to be out there. So your list of jobs or careers that are available are not going to be a lot. You know what I mean? So there's a good chance if you grew up in a coal mining town, for example, a lot of coal mining towns went broke when coal wasn't used as much. Same thing with steel out in Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh and Aliquippa and places out in Western Pennsylvania where steel was the thing. It was the thing that was keeping food on the table, roofs overhead, shoes on feet, and coats on their backs. And Lord knows, if you know anything about Western Pennsylvania, especially on the northern side, it gets cold. It gets cold. So you're going in, but you know, it was a thriving industry. They don't call the Pittsburgh Steelers because they thought it was a cool name. They made steel. That's exactly what they were known for. You know, same thing like the Houston Oilers, Houston oil fields. Or you could say like the Houston Astros, because there was so much NASA activity in Houston, back in the day. All right. Jeff Sprayberry said Eastern Airlines gone. Yes, gone. Shoot, Delta is still around. Barely. Murder Business says gotta adapt to the changing times or get phased out. Actual fact. Jeff Sprayberry says, well, Detroit not making cars anymore. Detroit not making cars anymore affected more than just Michigan. But they called it Motown. That's where all the American cars were made. But that also affected Detroit and all of the surrounding suburbs like Pontiac. It's called Pontiac. And surrounding states like Ohio. They had car plants in Ohio. Shit. Milwaukee used to be, I didn't even know. My family been living in Milwaukee for 60 years. I did not know that Milwaukee was famous, or Wisconsin was famous for cheese until later. I knew Milwaukee because of beer. They drink fucking jugs of this shit. Miller used to be there. Pabst used to be there. Of course, Milwaukee's best, but they had, they were big on beer. They drink in Wisconsin. Where the fuck am I going? I'm going to go get my shirts. I'm walking off like I'm going somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so Milwaukee, nobody thinks of beer anymore when they think of Milwaukee. But I bet you when Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley were out, that's what you thought about. Beer in Milwaukee. So we're going to talk about how some people have been on jobs for decades and decades, and how some people can't keep a job to save their lives. You know what I mean? Going from one job to another job, getting laid off of this job, getting phased out in this job, getting fired from this job, quitting this job. You know what I mean? They can't keep a job. And, it can't all just be laziness, right? Sometimes it really is laziness. And that's something that we have to take into consideration. But even if you're the laziest person in the world, you still need a way to be able to sustain your income, or have an income coming in so you can sustain your lifestyle, build a lifestyle, provide for your family and yourself. So how do some people do it for decades and decades, and some people can't do it for 10 days? My man Troy Diesel. What's going on, my dude? Good to see me some you. So we're going to have this talk tonight. We're going to make sure we get it right. So we're talking about at the same job for 10 plus years. Can't keep a job to save your life. Hit that like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. So let's talk about this. Let me ask y'all a question real quick. Who is the person, or who are the people who who have been on the same job for the longest that you know? Who right now amongst the living do you know has been on a job for the longest time? Like, I don't know, 10 years ain't 10 years is a long time to be on one job, but it's nowhere near a long time. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about like 20 years, 25, 30 years. Who do you know? And it doesn't have to be somebody close to you. It can be somebody who works at the job that you work in. Like, yo, old head been here. Old head been here since here was never here. You know what I mean? Like Moses got him this job. And I don't mean by blessing. Like he literally referred him. Show him the scrolls. No, that ain't no referral slip. Show him the scrolls. Show him the scrolls. You know you've been here since forever. Queen Monica. Queen Monica was good. How you feeling? How you feeling? Good to see me some you. Queen Monica says, oh, mom was forced to retire at 49. She was at the same job for 49 years? 49 years? That's nothing short of amazing. Because that's, I think that's the longest I've ever heard of somebody being at one job. 49 years. So she must have got that job either right out of college or right out of high school. I would imagine. And evidently that was a pretty decent gig if she stayed there that long, you know, got her kids through definitely 49 years. Shit, that's a long time. That's a long time. Damn. But can you imagine the changes that a job, like one job goes through for 49 years? In 49 years? You know what I mean? I imagine that a job is doing all kinds of shit in a 49-year span. I would imagine. See, Jeff says, my brother Jerry has worked for Old Dominion Freight Line for 30 years. 30 years is a long time. Wow. That's a long time. Now, yeah. For a business to be for a company to be in business for that long in today's economy, I mean, that's nothing short of amazing. Nothing short of amazing. But how do y'all look at people who have been on jobs at one job for that many years? What are your general thoughts about that? I know what I normally think about a person who has been on one job for a long time is that they're consistent. They're disciplined. There's no way you have been on a job for 15, 20, 25 years and you're late all the time, or you're absent all the time, or you're bullshitting and ain't making the company no real money. You just kind of hanging on. There ain't nobody gonna put up with your shit for that long. Because one thing that is abundantly clear nowadays is that jobs do not give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. They care about their bottom line. They care about their beach houses. They care about their yachts. They care about their ability to be able to pay for private schools for their children. They care about their big houses. They care about their stock portfolios. That's what they care about, not you. So I think it's funny when I hear politicians talk about, all of these jobs were created. Like, like, yo, we out here doing the work of the Lord here. We got jobs for everybody. Look, we created jobs. There's no such thing as job creation. There's a such thing as a need. There's a such thing as a want. Hold on. It's time to go. Yeah, it's time to flow.
You have a call from
my man Troy Diesel is all up in the house. What's going on, my brother? How you feeling?
Damn right, man. I had to call in tonight, man. My most humble, sincere apology to my brother's son. Let the music play. 5-2. My brother's son, let the music play. 752.
Yeah.
You know, I made sure I called in tonight, man. Yes, I'm telling you, bro, this medicine. We're gonna just have to talk down. I'm gonna have to sit down and talk to you about some herbs so I can try to take some of this medicine off of me, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to sit down and talk to you about some herbs, man. You know.
Okay.
Of course, they put me on some new medicine, and around a certain time, this bed be hugging me so tight, I'd be like, man, I can't get up. I woke up, I heard you and Kim talking last night. I was trying to call in. My bed was like, no, the fuck you not.
Lay your ass down. The fuck out of here. You ain't.
What you trying to do? You're 55. You better not be playing with my body.
Hey.
What's going on with you, though, brother?
Man, I'm feeling like a real man should. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm in the game now, so. Yeah, man, I agree. I mean, the things you talking about tonight, yeah, my mom done 30, I think I typed this, she did 35 years, I think.
35 years, that's what you typed
in. She did a bid, you know what I mean?
That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So, I mean, you know, like I was saying before you called in, you know, I'm thinking that if a person has been able to keep a job that long, first of all, they know how to keep a job. That's number one. Obviously, they are valuable to the company that they work for, even though even people who have been valuable to the company have been, you know, phased out, forced into retirement, downsized, you know, almost like being put out the pasture because a lot of these companies don't want to pay those entitlements. You know what I mean? Pensions and shit like that. They don't want that on it. They want years of loyal employment, but what they don't want is for that shit to pay off when it's time for you to get yours.
Do you think that's what's going on with SEPTA right now?
SEPTA, one thing about SEPTA, and by the way, y'all, for those of y'all who don't know, who are not from Philly, SEPTA is our local transit authority. So it's the bus company, the trains, it's the public transportation company. People have been suing SEPTA for years. And, you know, as many times as people get pissed off about SEPTA raising fares and making changes and shit like that, but who doesn't know somebody who done got paid off a trip and fall or some shit with SEPTA or worse? You know what I mean? People see a bus. I've known people who jumped in front of a damn bus because they know SEPTA will pay, and you know the employees who work for SEPTA, their union is strong as shit. SEPTA is also the biggest employer in the Philadelphia area. It's the biggest employer. So that lets you know what the economy is like in a city when the transit authority is the biggest employer in the city. So that lets you know we ain't ballers. And you're like, this ain't, you know, Philly is not a place where you come to get rich. Not that there aren't people here who have a lot of money, but, you know, the biggest employer is the bus company. So you won't be blue collar. Either, no way around it. This is a blue collar city, and that's why so much of the gentrification that's going on and the housing development and shit, it doesn't jive with the soul of the city or the economy of the city. It don't fit. So that's why you want to have so many transplants, people coming from other places, but they're coming from other places to work here. So how does that work? You know what I'm saying? So somebody got a job, but what jobs do they have? If you think about the city of Philadelphia and you think about the companies that have been here for a long time, and some of those companies.
What's the longest job you had stayed at? How long you was at that job?
Unfortunately, the longest I've ever been at a job was when me and my dad was working together. And that was I started working with him as a teenager at 14 years old, but working directly for him and for us. I graduated in 93 and I started working for him right out of college, and we folded in 2007. So that's only 14 years. It seemed like a lot longer than that, but it was 14 years. So that's the longest I've ever been at a job. And I'm not going to match that. There's no way I'm going to be at a job any longer than that. You know what I mean?
The longest I ever been at a job was at Sam's Clam Bar. I was there on 5 years.
Okay.
And when you're in the culinary business, I honestly think at the job, certain jobs that you stay at, you don't stay long because you feel like you're pimping yourself out, when you go into these jobs. I mean, not pimping yourself. You feel like you got to go to the highest bidder when it goes to the money. Like if you're working at a job and you making $16 an hour, you still gonna be looking for another job, because you're always on your hustle and flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you find another job and that job paying 18, you're like, might have to leave this and go take that $18. Because we always try to get that job that we can feel comfortable at. You know what I mean? Financially. Because see, what people don't know, and I'm not trying to get off the subject because I know you're going to fuss me out if I try to get off the subject. What people don't know about jobs is that when you go get a job and you say let's say you're making $25 an hour, you're really only making $20 an hour. You make that $25 an hour for about 3 months because you're not paying into your health insurance or any type of short-term disability and all that. But when that 3 months is up and you decide to get health insurance and all these other perks with the short-term and long-term disability and all that other stuff, it goes down. It dwindles down to $20 an hour. So if you're making 15, you're making about 11. So you try your best to ground yourself at certain amounts of money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so, that's kind of true.
It's somewhat true. It's somewhat true because you gotta pay. You gotta pay within your insurance. You gotta pay for your insurance.
No, you don't have to.
No, you don't if you don't want it. I know when I worked at the Marriott, when I got my first real culinary job, son, I was only paying $20 for my health insurance, and I had Aetna U.S. Healthcare. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'm talking about top notch. Mm-hmm. If I went to
Aetna?
To the doctor's office just to sit there, I didn't have to pay a copay or nothing. You can go ahead and sit in the office. Would you like some grateful pie with that sandwich? U.S. Healthcare was one of the best ones, man, back then. But back to what you like you said, you stay in jobs long enough because number one, you develop a habit. Plus, you develop bonds with people. That money start getting a little bit better because you've been there for years. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. There are plenty of people who have been on jobs for decades, and the money wasn't about shit.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Listen, man.
It wasn't.
There are plenty of jobs.
Do what you love and love what you do, bro.
But is that even it? Yeah, because I think that there are different reasons that people do different things. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times there are factors that go into your decision of whether to get a certain job or stay at a certain job. Location is one of those things. You know what I mean? Not everybody is willing to travel. Not everybody has a car. So, like, let's say you live in a place where there really aren't a whole lot of job opportunities, but you can get a job. But you might be able to get a better job if you could get out of work outside of the city or in the burbs or something like that. But you might not be able to get out there easily. you know, or it might be hard for you to keep a job like that because it's so far. And like maybe when the weather is bad, you're unable to get there. And some jobs ain't
Yeah,
trying to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, so location sometimes plays into it. Education plays into it a lot. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that, you know, you got to have a college degree or something like that, but some people don't even have a high school diploma, and that kind of paints you into a corner of certain jobs that you can get or can't get. And um along with that educational piece, there may be an industry that you were determined to work in. Like some people believe that because they went to school for a certain job, that's the job that they have to have or have to keep, and they don't see themselves doing anything else. And they're free to think that way, but it's not necessarily, you know what I mean? Like I would think that you would expand yourself to make the kind of money that you wanted to make. But maybe they do. Maybe some of them are making the kind of money that they want to make, or don't think that they can make any better. Like when I think of union jobs, and no disrespect to anybody who has a union job, because I think I support unions, number one, and I think that that's a good way to go because you're always going to get a fair shake if you work with, you know, with a union. At the same time, you're kind of painting yourself in the corner to make the same money as everybody else.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Even though in unions they have seniority. So like if you've been working in the same union at the same job for 20 years, somebody who's fresh off the streets is not going to come in making the same money you're making, but it can be close. It can be close. You know what I mean? One thing is for sure. If you're in the union, you're not going to be a supervisor. You're not going to be in management. Now, some people say things like, yeah, but I make more than the manager do, especially with my overtime and all that kind of stuff. Never really taken into account, like, but the manager don't have to do no overtime. He might not even have to do 40 hours. So, you know, you busting your ass to make the 80 grand that he's making. He doing 35 a week. You know what I'm saying? So either way, there are a lot of things that can influence your decision to stay at a job, especially the job itself, because you can't stay at a job that don't want you. You know what I mean? So there may be things that you have to do if you're not in a union. Well, that's one of the benefits of having a union job. You won't get pushed out or, you know, laid off and or all of that or all of that shit without being compensated. That's not going to happen. But there are way more non-union jobs than there are union jobs. So in a non-union job, if you're able to stay on a job like that for decades or whatever, then you've done some shit. You've definitely mastered the art of keeping a job, which means that you have to be disciplined in a certain type of way, consistent in a certain type of way, and maintain your value. Because jobs will bounce you right the fuck on up out of there and get somebody younger and cheaper to replace you. So it's not a small victory or small feat to be able to keep a job for a long time. Seka Sala, he says, working from home since COVID 2020. I'm not going to the office day in and day out. I can't do it. At home, I can invest in family time, myself, and stocks. I don't see myself working in an office 9 to 5. COVID changed a lot for people.
Yes, it did.
It did. It changed a lot for people as far as, first of all, I think it hit a lot of people to their entrepreneurial spirit. There were a lot of things that were being that were valuable during COVID that don't exist now. So you kind of have to learn to strike while the iron is hot. Like people who were making masks and shit, they was getting paid. You know, people who were making custom masks for 2 years, for 2 years, they was doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They was doing all right. But most of them probably realize if I can be an entrepreneur in this industry, I can find another one to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
so
people making their own mixed drinks and selling them in the pouches.
well, internet activity, period.
Yeah, they was doing. A lot of people was doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
I even tried to dibble in that one, trying to come up with some shit.
It was the time to do it. It wasn't going to be no other time like that.
I made alcohol freeze pops, alcohol flavor freeze pops.
Okay.
It just had a minimum alcohol because you can't really freeze alcohol, but it had the flavor of the alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, you became real innovative at that time. Shit, what really came out and bust out the bag during COVID? OnlyFans.
OnlyFans was popping way before COVID.
But it got even popular when it came out.
Listen, motherfuckers was DJing over on the internet. You know what I mean? People was paying for that kind of shit. They was getting a lot of, even if you weren't paying for it, it was giving them a lot of promo. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of shit happened during COVID. Queen Monica says, I worked at my last job for 10 years. I would still be there today if not for medical. Older people used to stay for pension in Philly, SEPTA, city, state, government, Amtrak, SDP. What's SDP?
What is it called?
I don't know.
You said F what?
Oh, SDP. Sam Peter David. SPD.
Huh.
I got nothing. But yeah. So, I don't know. Now, personally, working at a job for a whole long time, just looking forward to retirement, for me, that's not living. For me, that's just not what I want to do, because they make you wait all the way until, you 62 to do school district. Okay. That's what SDP, School District of Philadelphia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The earliest you can retire now is 62, and they're trying to push that up. So at 62, that's only a partial retirement, which can have an effect on your real retirement just 3 years later. You know what I mean? And now they're trying to push it all the way to 67 and 70 and all of that. So, you know what I mean? Like, so many people, bodies are fucked up by the time they get to 70 years old. I don't want to be that old to so-called start enjoying life.
True.
But at the same time, I understand what they're saying, because while they so-called waiting for retirement, they're still living along the way and getting a check. So, there are more than two ways to look at any situation. Now, growing up with my dad, it's amazing that I work a 9-to-5 job, because I wasn't raised that way. I was not raised that way. That man told me, you don't work for nobody else. You create your own job and you hire somebody to work for you. But that's the only way you're going to get paid, is to make sure that you're the one writing the checks. Because he said no, none of these companies or no other man is going to pay you what you would pay yourself. And he was telling the truth. I know he was telling the truth then. I haven't figured this shit out yet. Like, he knew what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? With the real estate thing, I can't. Ugh. I miss the money. I just don't miss the job. You know what I mean?
You don't miss the headache.
Oh my God. Ugh. 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 But I miss the money.
Yes.
I miss the money. I miss the freedom too. I'm out in the street all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Riding around like I ain't got no job. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But staying at a job for a long time has, people have different reasons for doing that. There's some people who work all the time and really working is their refuge. To me, it makes sense that you can't wait to get off of work so you can go home, kick back, chill, enjoy life at the crib. To me, for other people, going home is terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not the place where they have a good time. It's not comfortable for them. It can be a place of stress. It can be a place of worry. It can be a place of irritation. It can be a place of loneliness. It can be a place of bad memories. You know what I'm saying? It can be a place of bad feelings. So there are some people who go to work in order to feel better. That wouldn't be me. I go to work for the check.
Yeah, sometimes people work to use their job as their solitude.
Yep. And there are a lot of people like that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'll be damned if I'm going to work in order to feel better. When I'm at the crib, I shut the rest of the world out. I'd be like, fuck y'all. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Let me get my gun ready and Call of Duty.
Yeah, shit, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I get it. I do. I get it. And ain't nothing wrong with spending most of your time making money. However, for somebody who has the thought process like me, I'm thinking like, but I'm not really making that much money. I'm just making somebody else a bunch of money and I don't even get to touch it. You know what I mean? At least if I could see it, I would be able to take a little bit off the top. But being as though that ain't the way it is, we have to work with what we have. I mean, we have to work with what we're working with. But yeah, different industries. I mean, and like I said, people have different reasons for staying at certain jobs. Now, if you are a tradesperson, you can work at a company for as long as you wanted to, but if you have a trade,
it's very, very easy to start your old shit up.
Or just freestyle out there. You know what I mean? You don't have to settle down.
You don't. You can be if you do that at doing that carpentry shit and all that. You write your own checks.
It used to baffle me. It used to baffle me when I went to plumbing supply stores and electrical supply stores. I'd be like, so you're a plumber, but you work in a plumbing supply store? The fuck? And speaking of those jobs, you have people who work there for 30 years, 40 years, and now there are no more of those stores. Yeah. There ain't no plumbing supply stores. There ain't no electrical. Yeah. There may be like one or two. Yeah, but them shits are extinct. They used to be everywhere.
Shit, Lowe's and Home Depot, they took over that.
They sucked it up.
Yes, they did.
And that's why I tried not to go there. You know what I mean? I got a real serious grudge with big box stores. I don't like that shit. Like
just like Rite Aid. Well, let's take Rite Aid out because pretty much almost all Rite Aids are closed down. But let's just say before all these other pharmacies closed down, Rite Aid and CVS took away from the small pharmacies that was the neighborhood pharmacies you grew up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fucked that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They were like the supermarket of drugs.
Yep.
And they swallowed up. And that's how you bankrupt neighborhoods. That's how you suck the blood out of neighborhoods. And motherfuckers do not want to admit it, but that's how crime breeds. Because you don't have no money coming into the neighborhood. Because all the big box stores suck the money out of the neighborhoods, and nobody even recognizes that that's how the money was keeping the neighborhoods flourishing.
Yeah, it was being generated. The money was being generated in the neighborhood.
It was circulating in the neighborhood, and those big box stores or on the outskirts, they not in your neighborhood. So we didn't used to have to go downtown to get certain shit. We could just go on the Ave.
Yeah.
I never went to. I went to Foot Locker to get sneakers only because they had certain exclusives. Other than that,
you went right around there on the Ave, right on Germantown.
Samsung.
Yeah. Shit. I remember back in the day, I used to come to West Philly. I used to go to West Philly to get sneakers at Samsung.
52nd Street. They had all of it.
Yeah.
They had all the jars. Like, yo.
You get them. Listen, man. I used to go to 52nd Street and go to Samsung because number one, the owner was cool as shit. Number one, I never went to a sneaker store where they give you some free socks.
They did give you free socks. They did give you free socks.
You know what I mean?
They did give you that.
And they would have the last sale. And that shit would be cheap as shit. And you'd be like, God damn, I got these sneakers for $50.
Yeah.
You'd be happy as shit because you know you got that $50. You only had 75, but the ones you wanted so bad.
And don't let the last sneaker be the one on the display.
Oh.
So we only got the match to the display. Like, that's all you got? Oh, so you telling me that these is half off?
Oh, Juju time.
You know what I mean? I'm about to be like Goldstein on that ass, like, And that sneaker store down South Street. I can't remember the name of it. They had the shit. So
you had a Samsung down South Street too.
I'm talking about before Samsung was a thing.
Yeah. Was it called Sneaker City?
It was right there. Was it at 6? 6 and
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's right across the street from where the Samsung is at now.
I'm just saying.
I remember, boy, man, that was my shit. That sneaker store was my shit because they had one there, and they had one down on Passyunk Avenue in South Philly.
Man, I remember they had. But when Fat Shoelaces was out, they had all these different colors. I was like, God damn. They always kept some fly shit. But yeah, as we talk about these places that don't exist anymore, those opportunities to work at these places don't exist either. If the bosses can't make it, the employees can't make it.
Right.
So when we talk about being on a job for 10 plus years, a lot of these businesses nowadays ain't got 10 years in them. They do good for a minute, and then another company comes and swallows them up or buys them out.
Yeah.
Look, remember the other day when we was talking about YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube was set up a certain kind of way before Google bought it. So, like, how they have all these community standards and all of that, they didn't have that on YouTube before. You say whatever the fuck you wanted to. They also, but they also didn't have the same bandwidth. You know what I mean? So you couldn't upload a hour-long video or whatever. You could only you could break down a video into like 10 minute or 11-minute parts. That's why I like all them battle raps I used to watch back then. It'd be like part 1, part 2, part 3, or round 1, round 2, round 3, and shit like that. Because they didn't have the bandwidth, but it was worth so much money because it was popping. And Google was like, "What y'all doing over there?" Oh yeah. Yeah. Let me holler at you.
Let me holler at you.
Exactly. So with them selling out to Google, you can imagine that the people who were probably working there ain't working there no more.
Yeah.
You know, because Google either said, like, look, we'll pay you this. Come on over here. We pay you this little bit of money or whatever. But we already got our own people. So whatever you was doing over here, you ain't going to be doing over here. So, you know, it's not as easy to keep a job as it may have been years and years ago. You know, the days of our parents, I don't know nobody that I can think of who had parents who were changing jobs a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. You know, most people I knew, their parents had been at a job for a certain amount of time. And it was normally a good little while.
Till retirement.
Or something. Or something. That's why getting a whole new job or changing a whole new industry was a big deal. They were like, you doing what?
Well, we remember the conversation about AI last month?
Uh-huh.
It's going right now. You will never find a person that will be at a job for 5 or 10 years or more, because there are not no jobs that you can be at for 5 or 10 years or more.
Well, that's a conversation that we need to have, because
you know what I mean. Because of situations with me and you and Kels was talking about before. AI is pretty much going to take over a lot. That shit is taking over the damn cell. I mean, the fucking calling you on your phone, scam likely numbers.
Yeah.
You know, it's taking over the bill collecting calling. It's taking over the, you know, self checkout at the market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's taking over. I went to when I went to Lincoln Hall Hospital. When I went to Lincoln Hall Hospital, right, for a doctor appointment. Mm-hmm. I had went down to the cafeteria, got me a coffee, a snack, and something to drink. Right, they didn't even have a cashier. They had a self checkout cashier, where you just run everything and it'll weigh your coffee and tell how much your coffee costs.
Man,
I was like, I'm like, damn, this is like. You know, you used to people being there saying thank you, or this costs this amount, thank you, have a good day.
Yeah.
You're not getting that no more.
First of all, the price of coffee. That part. Yeah. Who decided that coffee need to cost a lot?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
You know what I mean? But they must have said it loud. Because, man, I gave up coffee a long time ago. I'm like, y'all ain't going to be hitting. That Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks shit is ridiculous.
Oh, no way.
Even Wawa.
Either I buy my own or I go to Wawa.
Man, I used to hit up the Cambodians at the donut shop.
Oh yeah, that's
yo, decent. give me a hot sausage too. You know what I mean?
That's the best one. That's the best one.
Little cute ass brown skinned Cambodian chick, looking like she's like 30 years old, looking like she's 17. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck is going on here?
They know you by your name.
Like it ain't shit. They already getting this shit together when they see you can't come in.
As soon as you come in the damn store.
You know what I mean? They helping another customer. Yeah, yo, they helping another customer getting your shit. Like,
yeah, boy. That's the best feeling.
Well,
you feel like Norm from off of fucking
I know,
shit.
Right? Rest in peace, Norm. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Being on, even talking about those little local businesses. Local businesses used to have people who worked at local businesses for a long time. Hold on. How about this? I'm gonna fuck you up with this one. People who worked at the check cashing place for years. The check cashing place. Do we still got check cashing places?
Shit, I know the one. I know you got one right there on Broad and Ellsworth that's been there for years.
And I think the one at Broad and Girard might still be there. But the thing is, Most motherfuckers don't get paper checks no more.
Yeah.
So, you understand? You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to stay in business for a long time, for double-digit years.
Yeah.
And the ones that had been there 20, 30 years, the check cashing place. I knew people worked in the check cashing place forever. Or the local hardware joint.
They knew you when you was cashing your summer checks. till you start cashing
real shit.
your older check.
Real shit. You know what I mean? When everyone, we don't come from direct deposit. Everybody, that shit is some new shit. For real. You know what I mean? It ain't new, but it's new enough.
Yeah, it's new enough.
You know what I mean?
But it's new enough that, a lot of people, some people in our generation still don't want it. They don't want direct deposit.
No, I get a paper check.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't like the. I don't like the real. I don't like it. Yeah, like what I do like about it is that it's there. You know what I mean? That shit hit in the middle of the night on a Wednesday. Sometimes you get your joint early or whatever. But what I don't like about it is I don't like nobody handling my money before me.
There you go.
So what I mean, if you got like overdraft fees on your bank, with your bank, they take that shit first. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I got to hit you with your ball thing. Yeah.
I don't like that shit. I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like my money shouldn't go into a place where they can just take my shit.
You got overdraft fees.
Listen, I haven't had an overdraft fee in multiple digit years. I mean, multiple 2 digit. So, but the thing is, I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't like nobody touching my money before. Like, I might just want to put my money in another bank. Like, maybe I don't want to bank with y'all no more. And I don't feel like telling you right now. But yeah, I don't know. There's certain advantages to direct deposit, just like there are certain advantages to getting a paper check. Like, having your pay stub on you instead of having to go online. You know what I mean? You got to have a printer and all of that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, check cashing places. I knew people who were working in check cashing places over 10 years. So everybody who works at a job for a long time is not necessarily doing it because the money is good. Because I know they wasn't making a bunch of money. Not working in no check cashing place.
They doing it for the comfortability.
There are reasons that people work where they work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bottom line.
You created your own company. You got this. You've been there for 10 years, so now you know the ins and outs. You're comfortable. You don't want to start all over. You're gradually moving up the ladder and getting bigger coins now. And now you're saying to yourself, I can walk off for 2-3 hours and people don't know where I packed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hold on. Jason in the comments talking about some. I want to get paid. Hold on. I can barely say this shit. I want to get paid in cash. Like this is 1932, but the job won't do it. But the job won't do it. Recalcitrant. Hold up. Those recalcitrant motherfuckers. Tell them to stop being so petty.
I want to get paid like Ray Charles used to get paid in all ones.
Joe, getting paid in cash, I miss them days. But what up, Cheryl Halsey? What's going on, Shirley? Cheryl, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. What's good? So yeah, people who worked in the local hardware store for years.
You go in there and they know your mother and father. What your mom said you here for, Troy?
Yo,
you know what I mean?
Yo, the local hardware store, they really fucked up when they met. That's why I hate Home Depot and Lowe's, man. I hate them. This shit is highway robbery. Yo, the last 5 years, we lost the hardware store that was on the corner here. That was my shit. And the chicks that took it over, and they was there since I was here, since I moved here. So that was in 2020. I mean, that was in 2000. So they just folded about, I want to say, was it during COVID or right after it? I think it was before though. I think it was before COVID. So, but that I mean, you can't discount getting a fucking key made.
No shit. I was just getting ready to say
Gotta go to fucking Home Depot to get a key made, or get glass cut, man.
Back in the day when the screen got broken and you can get your screen.
Yo, expert screen repair service.
Yeah.
Or glass, getting glass cut.
Get new glass in your glass for your glass doors.
Yo, you take that shit in on there on a Monday. Yo, it'll be ready by Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Give me $20 for now. It costs $30. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was
for real, boy. Those were the good old days.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I knew people who had worked in those places for years and years and years. Auto parts stores. But it wasn't always all of this. What's the? It used to be R&S Strauss, but even now you got AutoZone and Ace. No, it's not Ace. What's that? What's the other hardware?
Something.
Let's start with an A. Something A auto. Anyway, the local auto parts store, you took your part in that bitch dirty and greasy as shit. Like, yo, I need this. Oh, all right, hold on. Now I'm saying, like, yo,
they still got one. They got one right there on the corner of 13th and Federal.
My auto parts store was Penn Auto Parts, right there on Broad Street between Poplar and Girard.
Okay.
And I remember the white boy, the fat white boy. He used to answer the phone. Penn Auto Parts. Penn Auto Parts. I'll never forget that motherfucker. I know he probably ain't alive no more. Advance. Thank you, Jason. Advance Auto Parts.
Yeah,
Penn Auto Parts. And everybody went to that joint. R&S Strauss was right down the street. They could not break Penn Auto Parts.
Mm.
But when they started gentrifying it, First, they bombed the and I don't mean literally bomb, but they took the post office off of the corner because it was the post office right there in Broad and Poplar. Now once they get rid of a post office, everything else in that road gotta go, and it did everything. It was a post office, it was a renter center, then it was Penn Auto Parts. And this was before Crown Fried Chicken and all that shit came. Then right around the corner was the check cashing place. It was a bunch of local business. Yep. Oh, you know what was there? Hold on. It was motherfucking. It was the post office, Renter Center. No, Renter Center was on the corner. Then it was the post office. Then it was the 3-2 Center.
Hey.
The 3-2 Center. With the boy out there fresh to death with a food stamp stack, like
buying them up.
Yo, the first time I saw the food stamp, boy, I was like, look, my eyes bulged out my head. You'd have thought I was seeing real money. Like, hold on. So wait. So he's buying the food stamps from the people that just got the food stamps? And what's he going to do with the food stamps? You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out what his hustle was. This motherfucker go home with a duffel bag full of food stamps. Like, what are you going to do? how much food are you going to eat? You know what I'm saying? It was the 3-2 center. So, you know, it was popping on the 1st and 15th.
Yeah, it's the first of the month. Go get your check at the first.
That shit was the realest. It was the realest shit I ever saw. What up, Simon Says? What's good? And Oakland, what's good?
Boy.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, my middle brother, the one that's the fastest, my sisters, my mom used to send them to the store with a food stamp. He was pissed as shit. And I'm up in there smiling like, give me some candy or chips and all that shit. I didn't give a fuck if you sent me. You could have sent me there. You could have duct taped that shit to my shirt. I wouldn't have gave a fuck.
Listen, man. I used to mess with this girl. She worked at the WIC office. And she worked at the WIC office for like 10 plus years. She wasn't making no money. She wasn't making no money worth shit. But she was doing something. Cause she managed to get she was one of the first black people that moved out there in the Northeast. I was like, this crib nice as shit. Like, what did you I'm like, what did you do? You done fucking, duct tape some white people and got them the fuck out the crib.
What you selling? Chick cereal and juicy juice?
She got that crib. And then she left and got another crib. It wasn't as nice as that joint, though. It was like right off the boulevard. What was it? I want to say it was like, she lived on, it was Bridge Street. She lived on Bridge Street. So,
what in the world? Y'all be in his comments, but I'll be in his gut. What the fuck is wrong with people?
Hold on, what the fuck is going on? I'm almost scared to look.
Don't look.
Oh shit!
You see it?
Yeah, you out of here.
You
go by Hasib. You got the nerve to have a fucking Muslim name. You fucking.
He's looking at you like you all out of deep.
Oh my god. Yo, chill.
He's saying it.
Oh yeah. He go bye-bye. He go bye-bye. You know what I mean? He go bye. I'm saying bye-bye. Don't go.
Bye, asshole.
What up, Wallace C? What's good, man? Good to see you here. But yeah, so yeah, being able to stay at a job for years and years, double-digit years, I mean, it's almost like an art form. This shit is not sweet. It is not sweet. It's not as sweet as people think it is. You know what I mean? It's like this. It's not what you can get, it's what you can keep. A lot of people can get things, but only certain people can keep something. So if you can get to the point where you can keep a job for 10 plus years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever. But like I said, it's not always about the money. It's not always about the money. I see everybody coming late today. I'm like, that first hour, I was like, well, we just going to chalk this one up. You know what I mean? All right.
Like everybody just came from the club at the same time.
Woo, I'm glad they let the fuck out. I thought it was a wrap. Hold on.
You have a call from
Caller with the last name Wims.
Oh, shit.
Welcome to the Daily Go Get 'Emism Show.
Queen to me.
What's up, Getter family? What's up on the phone? What's up in the chat? What's up, everybody? I hope everybody is here and doing
well, you sound like you in the afternoon, not the night.
Look, nighttime is our time. This, yeah, I mean, this is for third shift cats.
I'll let you know from the door. Because I was telling son just a minute ago. I said last night I woke up. I heard y'all talking. I was trying to get on. I rolled over one part of the bed. The other part of the bed rolled up on me. It's like, you ain't getting on no fucking bed.
You know what I mean?
That motherfucker curled me up in there and was like, you better go back to sleep, motherfucker. You better go back to sleep. I woke up. I looked at my darn TV. Yeah, I see son on TV frozen on my TV like he's looking at me through the TV.
Troy over there like, must call in.
Let me must want him to think.
Me too.
I don't fuck with the show. Let me call.
Need to comment.
See, I do that sometimes. I'll start off listening and I'm like, I'm gonna call in a few.
Shit. I be lying. Y'all seen me sleep on this show before. I don't know if y'all thought I was just. I know for a fact. I'm going back and watch. Like, look at this shit here. I fell asleep. Ain't nobody say shit though. I give it to y'all. Y'all don't say shit like, oh well, fuck it. You know what I mean? He'll be up in a second.
So we don't know if you fall.
I don't know how. I don't know the fuck how. Like them eyes closed. That is not a blink. But anyway. So Kim, like, what's the longest time that you've worked at on one job?
So how are we counting this? Are we counting this a physical, like brick and mortar? Are we counting full-time employment by somebody else? Are we counting self-employment? How are we counting this?
Well, really, I guess employed by somebody else.
So I will say,
You worked at General Electric from 1987.
Never worked there, no.
You worked for Archie and Edith Bunker for how long, Weezy?
I'm just sitting here thinking there's no place I've worked and until now. Like, I've had clients for a lengthy amount of time, but I've never actually been employed at any place for a very, very long time. And by that, I mean more than 5 years.
Okay, well, 5 years is the answer then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say what job you worked at for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Now,
My favorite place. So that was a hospital and RPS Imaging, which was a place where all the medical film came from. They use for like when they do scans and MRIs. That's where the film comes from, was RPS Imaging. So I would say them and the hospital.
Okay. Now, speaking of hospitals are a place where you meet people who have been there for mad, crazy years. And it's funny. It's funny because people think that all hospital jobs are good jobs, and they ain't.
They're not.
You know what I mean? People swear, back in the day, you'd be like, oh, he work at the hospital, like they thinking that everybody just getting paid. I'm like, until you work there, you realize like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what
there are definitely levels.
Working at a hospital with a lot of pay and great benefits, and none of that is true.
That's another thing that a lot of people thought. That's definitely what a lot of people thought. I'm like, well, how much you think that these food servers getting paid?
Mm-hmm.
But some of them been doing it for years and years and years. For years and years and years. My hospital is a local job.
I work for the school board in their kitchen, and I thought they was making money in the school board until I got there and realized I was only making $14 an hour for these badass kids.
Shit, depending on the year, $14 an hour might have been all right.
Yeah.
Because trust me,
these people still want to pay that now, though. I'm like, in 2025, you still want to pay people $14 an hour? Are you insane?
Well, yeah, because they have people who do it.
Yeah.
And depending on where you live at, $14 an hour might get you over. Now you
I
be
don't think
thinking,
anybody is making it on that anymore. They're struggling.
well, I mean,
They're
people
having
going down
to
south for
rub
something.
it
People
together.
still going to jobs down south for something.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? Because I
I
know
mean,
that
these
ain't
jobs
nobody
exist
coming to
because
Philly
people still
to
need them.
ain't nobody coming to Philly to make no $14 an hour. Like you can just we can stay broke wherever the fuck we at.
Well, most places the minimum wage is still $7.25, so that's why.
Yeah, well, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody that makes minimum wage.
I don't
But
either, but I'm just saying.
even double minimum wage that's a hard, depending on where you live at, it's you gonna have a hard time making ends meet.
Mhm.
You know, like Troy was saying earlier, talking about some of the deductions that you have on your check. So if you making $14.50, you know what I'm saying, you're not bringing home no $14.50. That's what's on paper. The IRS is already like, yo, what up? Hey, look, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna hook you up. I'm gonna let you take home this $9
And
an
don't
hour.
forget the Sam Insurance Company, that insurance. The
Well,
Sam Insurance, just in
I
case.
ain't trying to cut you off, but this bull Falcon 99 said, I worked at the Frederick Douglass Martin Garvey Academy in Wilmington, Delaware. 2023.
Oh God. He said from 2018 to 2020, I quit because I couldn't stand up. Oh my God.
With the bull, man.
Yo, leave Dr. Ifa Tunde. Yo, Dr. Ifa Tunde is coming back, man.
He said he worked at the school that didn't even open yet.
Yo.
You know, too, with some of these jobs, these new people on the planet, they're not going to take on some of the things that we took over to deal with when it comes to jobs. They're just not going in with they're going in with the mindset like, you gonna pay me what I'm worth, especially if I bring value. And I'm not coming here and being mistreated. Some of it I can't knock, some of it I celebrate. Like on the low, I'm like, go get your money and you make them pay you what your worth is. I agree with it.
Back in the day, I always tell people this. I always told my nephews this because I know when I had my first son, I was shit. When I had my first son, I was working 3 or 4 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I was like, because I'm saying to myself, I don't want to have to take away from myself. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that they cool, him and his mother cool, because we was together at that time. You know, and I want to make sure they cool, but I still don't want to take no money out of my pocket. I still want to get me some sneaks. I still want to look fresh to death and shit. You know. But I told my nephew when he had his first son, you better get whatever job you can get, because if you ain't doing nothing positive, you're gonna do something negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that these jobs today, they're barely. I don't know if there are no real jobs that you're gonna be at for 5 to 10 to 15, 20 years.
Well, that's not
There's
necessarily
no
true.
jobs up there like that.
That's not true. It depends on the industry.
Say that again?
It depends on the industry that you're in.
Well, true.
So like we were just talking about working in a hospital. I remember when I was back in college, they told me back then, and we talking about 1991, 92, they said the healthcare industry is the wave of the future. That's where all of the careers are going to be. And I didn't understand why. You know what? It's funny.
But unfortunately, that's not accurate anymore.
No, it's still true.
No, it's not accurate anymore just because of the person who's in place. Like we have hospitals that are closing everywhere now because of his dumbass, whatever stupid stuff he's doing. So there are hospitals closing. And we have doctors and nurses who are quitting, which is causing these hospitals to close. We have people who are quitting every day. So the hospitals aren't even able to sustain themselves.
He's not going to change. He's not going to change the need for healthcare workers. He can change the scope of how healthcare is paid for and what it pays out, but he's not going to be able to change the need.
No, he can't change the need, but it changes what people receive. And the assistance that they need is going to change that. And it is causing some hospitals to close, unfortunately.
He's not going to be in office forever.
Not being paid.
He's not going to be in office forever, and that's going and whoever comes after him or during his time is going to reverse that. But nonetheless, the future that they were talking about has already passed and is still here. You know what I mean? So, and the reason that he was saying it, he said because there are going to be a whole lot of new diseases and conditions and things like that, and they're going to need people to work. And he was right. You know what I mean? He was dead right. I didn't understand what he was talking about back then, but he was spot on with that. Definitely spot on. But yeah. So, you know, I think we need to switch to the other part of this, which is can't keep a job. Because there's some people who can't keep a job to save their lives. You know what I mean? For whatever reason. And a lot of those kind of people have worked under me. You know, so I have a lot of experience with people who aren't good at keeping jobs. And a lot of times it's not just laziness. That's part of it. But also there's some people who when they get on a job, they get on a high horse. You know, people who think that they can do a job better than everybody else, people who have hero complexes and they think that they like God's gift to this industry or this establishment or this company or whatever. Like, you needed this job coming in because you lost your previous job, but you're about to lose this job for the same reason that you lost the job before. Because some people are really, really bad at taking direction. They good at telling other people what to do or not even doing that, but they don't feel like nobody should ever tell them what to do. And they don't really realize that nobody is hiring you for you to be the boss, even when you're not in a position to be one. But you want to be the one who may not even want to be in that position of leadership or who will abuse that position of leadership, but you don't want to take directions from anybody. You don't want to get to work on time. You don't want to, you feel like you should have unlimited sick days or PTO or whatever. You know how like some jobs make you build up your PTO. They don't give you your days like as soon as you start the job. You know what I mean? So you may have to work a whole year and, you know, because your time is accruing. Shit like that. So, and they're people who just don't really work well with other people. They just don't. Every job they get on, they manage to have some kind of beef with one of the other subordinates or management or whatever. They can never get management to like them, you know, because they really full of shit, but they don't see it that way. And these are the type of motherfuckers that might rally the troops to try to commit anarchy on a fucking job. Like, how about y'all all can get fired? We can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, another applicant in a minute. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't putting up with that shit you doing. And there are, even besides people who don't have those type of social problems, some people can't keep a job just because, you know, a lot of times they are lazy, shifty. People steal from jobs. These are a lot of things that people don't admit to, but they know why. They know why. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with somebody who can't keep a job is tough. Because the people who can't keep a job are always the ones that need a job the most. But they don't learn from their mistakes. They don't see no mistakes and they don't see no holes in their game. None. But all the managers, supervisors, and their coworkers see all of the holes in their game. So, every time you turn around, they asking you, yo, you know any places that's hiring? Or do your cousin still work at the thing? You think he put in a word for me? Or I just put in the application over here, whatever. You think, they could talk to somebody and see if they can get me in? And those are the kind of people that will always come back to bite you in the ass if you help them out. They should never get no help. It is what it is, So, dealing with somebody who can't keep a job for shit. Now, that's one type of person that can't keep a job. There can be other reasons that you have to change jobs. I change jobs every year from 2017 to 2022. And no, that's not true. Because I was at the convention center for 2 years. From near the end of 2019 to the end of 2021. And but before then, okay, so 2017, I left Aramark, and then let's see, out in Delaware, Archmere Academy, then Villanova, then University of Penn, then Knights, EVS, and then the convention center. So I was moving around a lot, and honestly, it was because when you're in management, you kind of have to find your footing. It's not that easy to find a home when you're in management, especially when you're not really. Let me just put it this way: when you're in management, you encounter a whole lot of slimy shit, and if you're not, yeah,
I said preach on.
You do, and you find that your colleagues like to set people up and they play around with a lot of people's lives and their livelihood, and I'm not with all of that. So my first line of defense was always to try to kind of keep to myself, and I realized that don't work, because when you keep to yourself around a bunch of people that's all doing dirt, then they think that you the one snitching. That's how that works.
I told you what happened to me before, man. You go to a job, it takes me out because you're supposed to dumb yourself down because they want to do what they want to do. So when you come in the job with your work ethic and you're looking to move up in a position, I come in the job. My job is to come in and to move up. I'm trying to take your job because I'm going to bust my ass and I'm going to show the chef this is where I belong at. I want that sous chef position. So when I go in there and everybody else there before me didn't want it, and I'm coming in hungry, I'm showing them what I'm capable of doing, and now you want to give me the position. So the girl come to me and told me, I heard you was a rat. I said, I'm a rat. I said, what do I rat on people about? Well, from what I heard, you just go and you just snitch on everybody. I said, let me ask you a question. And I said this before, and I'm going to always say it. This is not the streets. This is a place of business. I'm here to do my job. You're here to do your job. Now, if I pull you to the side and I say, yo, in the most humble, sincere way, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking you what to do. I'm asking you to do it so you can make this job better for both of us. I shouldn't have to come in or after work after having 2 days off and shit is not prepped up. Or you got mold and stuff on grapes and strawberries that's You should have thrown it in the trash and replenished it.
Mm.
So at the end of the day, when I gotta come in and keep pumping up a whole fucking breakfast cart while you sitting in the corner chilling and relaxing on my days off. Oh no, we get ready to have a conversation, bro. Not just me, and you in the shop. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Okay, so
now it gets to that point. So now, and that's the slimy shit. When you become a manager, when you move up, you got to deal with this, and it's always your people. It's always our people that make it hard on us.
Yep.
It's always our people that don't want us to make it through or get to the next level.
It never fails. It's not just in management. It's just even in the office. Like you said, I worked for Aramark too here, but I worked in the office, and it was always a bunch of foolishness in the office, and you've seen all kind of stuff, and you're just like, "Wow, I hate this place. I gotta get the hell out of here." Grimy is the understatement for how things took place. Money was stolen, a lot of stuff was stolen, cheating, everything you could think of took place. And you just witnessed it.
well,
And you're right, it was always, not always, but a lot of, especially if you work in a place where it's the majority of us, there was a lot of us who did things, and you're like, come on now, what we've been in together. And they didn't want to get ahead. They didn't want to see you get ahead, or they felt like you were trying to take their spot or some dumb stuff like that.
well, like I said, when we're saying things that other people are doing, the spotlight is going to get on you because they don't have nothing on you. So I ran into that situation on a couple of jobs, but that was definitely the flavor of the day at the convention center. Like that job was all about, I gotta have something on you, and you can have something on me, so we can't tell on each other. That was the MO of not only the subordinates but management and everything. It was the weirdest shit. I was like, man, I'm not doing this shit. I'm like, I don't come here to fucking get. I said in my personal life, I can get into all kinds of shit. I'm not gonna shit where I eat at. Y'all sound stupid to me. But I was saying all of that to say that I was jumping around for a lot, to the point where I was thinking like, I'm going to have to change jobs every year. I'm going to have to get into the mind state where I'm just basically a mercenary. So I'll come, clean your shit up real quick, let y'all know how the shit is supposed to be run, and then I'll get the fuck on up out of here. Because the way it was looking was like that. It was going to be that way by default. So it's not always because you're lazy or shiftless or hard to work with that you might have to change jobs. You have to find where the fit is better. You know what I mean? So it can take a while before you find a place that fits your personality, your goals, aspirations, and where you can actually, strive and thrive. It doesn't always come to you just because you have a job. Sometimes you have to do a little bit more in order to find your proper footing, to get comfortable.
And because everything is not for everybody. It's just not for everybody. It's not. Sometimes you have to make it work for you and create your own lane. I remember listening to Jill Scott talk about her mother. She said her mother never kept a single job for a long length of time. She always had quit a job and start a new job, quit a job, start a new job. And she said that kind of made some instability in her life growing up as a kid. And I get it.
That's definitely, yeah.
But because I know that probably happened with my kid until I decided I don't want to do this anymore. I have an entrepreneurial spirit that I need to stretch out and get into versus doing this, because I'm not one to sit still in the office with other people and bullshit. So until I decided to really dig deep in and decide I want to be a freelancer or independent contractor, work for myself, entrepreneur, yada yada yada, I always was switching jobs, and I quit jobs at the drop of a hat when I was younger. Like I remember, I took a job. I had to be probably 17 or 18. I took a job at one of the like a Salvation Army thrift store kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first day. And at lunchtime, we all walked over to McDonald's. And everybody's talking. You know, they were really nice. We just having a good time. And I was sitting there thinking, I hate this place. It stinks and it's hot. I don't think I'm going back. So,
you ain't got your grub and left.
oh no, this is exactly what I did. They were like, all right, let's here we go. So everybody got up from the table because it was across the street, and they headed to the door. They was like, Kim, you coming? I said, not yet. So they start going out the door. The other girl come back. Come on, Kim. I said, yeah, I'm not going back. She was like, you quit. I said, yeah. She was like, you're not going to tell them? I said, they'll know when I don't return.
Wow.
I'm not going back to this bullshit.
Let me tell you something. Son and Kim, is a restaurant in Philly, right? So there's a restaurant in Philly called Cuba Libre, right? Right down there on 2nd Street. Cuba Libre. It was a restaurant. I was working at the Hyatt Hotel that's on Penn's Landing. And I had one of my boys asked me, he said, you know, I need some help. Can you give me some part-time hours? I was like, all right. So I went there. I went in that kitchen, man, and the exhaust system wasn't working. And this was during the summertime.
Mm.
Ooh. Let me tell you something, man. I was in there working in this hot-ass kitchen. As I was drinking water, I was allowing the water to pour out the side of my mouth to fall on my fucking shirt. It was so hot in this kitchen, man.
Mm.
I know I had to lose about 15 pounds in this fucking kitchen in one night.
Sweat loss.
The chef asked me, was I coming back? I said, yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow. You know damn well I wasn't going back in that damn kitchen, boy. You know damn well, boy. When I got home, I was so mentally exhausted.
Yeah.
And when I got on the bus and I sat down on the bus, I got up. The bottom of my seat was soaking wet. I didn't let this water just drip all over me, man.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's the worst.
I didn't give a fuck. It was so hot in that kitchen. And for that one night, they paid me $150. I said, I thought about going back, but I just thought about me lying on the floor after fainting.
Not unconscious from heat stroke in the kitchen.
Hold on, let me.
Heat stroke inside.
I would never met son.
Let me ask y'all something. Let me ask y'all something though. What are your general thoughts about the people that you know that couldn't keep a job? Like, what are your general thoughts about them?
So I have a young cousin now. Well, he's 30-ish, and he can't keep a job. But you know what? I support him because he walks in the door and he knows what his expectations are. He knows what he brings to the table, and he's just not one to take a lot of the bullshit. Like, he understands that you're replaceable easily. Like, these jobs don't give a damn about you like that. And so he's just kind of like, listen, if it's going to be all this, I'm out. And other people are angry that he does that. But I'm just like, I remember being that age or younger and working in places that I hated. And every day was miserable, and I couldn't be happy about a Friday because I was thinking about Monday. And I'm like, that didn't serve anything, because all the money in the world is not worth being miserable. And so I support that. Now, I do know 2 adults who can't keep a job. One, because he's always drunk, so he can't keep a job. And I'm just like, how are you fucking surviving Like, is this liquor more important to you that you can't stay sober? But I know it's a problem or whatever. But he can't stay sober long enough to keep any single job. I'm just proud that he has any that he can go to and get and work because he's very smart. He's talented. He has a lot of skills and experience. He has degrees. We just can't stay sober long enough to stay on the job longer than a year.
Yeah, but that drinking shit, that's a problem. If you can't curb your drinking enough to get your 9 to 5 on, like at least wait until after work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he just can't.
Look, bro.
Yeah.
Look,
lunchtime comes and he's out there in that car getting a sip, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh no, that's bad. Nah, that's intervention area right there.
Well,
but
I gotta tell y'all this one, right?
Wait a minute.
Wait. No, yeah.
I'm sorry, Kel. Go ahead.
And I have one other person, and then the other adult, she can't keep a job. And I think it's just because she's never developed past basic skills, if that makes sense. So, like, she just hasn't taken any classes or advanced past the simplicity of the kind of job she would have had when she was 18. And now she's getting ready to be 50. So she doesn't have any skills to bring to any new thing. And so she always gets jobs at places like Dollar General or Family Dollar or someplace like that. And she gets in those jobs that are mentally taxing, and she can't keep them because either they're robbed or you got the people who want to come in and act a fool and yell and scream. And she's not mentally stable for that. And I'm not saying she's crazy or nothing like that, but I just know, life didn't beat her up. So she just doesn't have the patience for that kind of stuff. So she can't keep a job. And it's just because she just hasn't advanced in anything. She just never got any more skills to do anything else.
Well, all right. The reason I was asking about this question is because there are a lot of different reasons that people, might not be able to keep a job. But one thing about not being able to keep a job or get a job that's normally consistent, some people have real, like some people don't even understand what getting a job means or what working for somebody means. One thing about getting a job and keeping a job is that you have to understand where the priorities lie with the job. Like why do we expect jobs to care about us?
That's the truth.
I mean, honestly, like, why would they care about you? Like where in the contract is that relevant? You know what I'm saying? Because if the shoes were on the other foot, like, okay, even if like you need your lawn mowed, you need somebody to cut the grass. So I need my grass cut. Does that mean that I should be concerned about where your children go to school or if they're safe? I need my fucking lawn cut. I'll pay you to cut the lawn, and I'll see you next time that the lawn needs to be cut if you do it well. I don't know why we have these expectations that jobs are going to care about us. I mean, it can sound cold and callous, but on the flip side, like, do we really give a fuck about these jobs?
That's why I don't take clients where I have to deal with that. Like, I believe in a personal relationship. Even like you said with the guy who cuts my grass, we have a personal relationship. Like, I don't have to call him to cut. He cuts mine, he cuts my dad. If I tell him, hey, can you take my trash? He'll take my trash out. Like, he just said, hey, your gutters need to be cleaned. I'm going to clean your gutters next week. So I believe in a personal relationship. At this point, when I'm spending money like that, or if I'm making money, I believe in a personal relationship. If we can't have that, and I'm good, because my peace is everything in every part of my life now.
Okay, but at a certain level, you can keep it personal. But at a higher level, there's no time or place for that.
Well, let me just say this to you, right? Like when I was the job I was at, and the situation I'm going through right now, like, you know, it takes me out because when I come to a job and I develop friendships, you know, I don't like to go to a job where I can't develop friendships. You know, sometimes you have to restrain yourself from some people, but some people you develop friendships with. You know, and you know, you remember, I don't know.
Relationship.
Yeah, working relationships, right.
Okay.
You know, I know you know some, but you remember the plane that went down the Northeast, right?
Yeah.
Well, the two people, the lady and the mother I used to cook for at the hospital I worked at. You know, so it was kind of a mourning period at the hospital. So I came in, I made a bunch of some cookie trays up and chips and sodas and took it to the higher ups while he was upstairs. And he was kind of surprised and this, that, and other, and he was very much appreciative. I said, listen, if y'all want me to make some burgers or something for y'all to come up here, because I know y'all going to be up here dealing with this all day, because the television people was coming up there. And, you know, I was just trying to be there for him. You know, and that's the thing about it. That's me. But since now, when you bring up, you know, we expect jobs to, why do you expect jobs to give a fuck? Well, I'm going through what I'm going through. I haven't heard one thing from my job. Not a call of how you doing, Troy? Are you okay? Is everything okay with you? I haven't heard one thing from them.
Well, you know, there are levels to everything.
Yes, it is.
So, all right, on your work level, you're going to develop relationships with people and sometimes friendships or whatever. Just the same way as you may find people that you don't want to have anything to deal with. But the company itself is not paying for that. You know what I'm saying? They're not factoring your personal relationships, even in business, into the equation when they hired you. That's why everything is contractual.
The relationships I was talking about was the HR department, because everything I was doing is for the HR department and executives.
Nonetheless, they are, you know, HR works for the company. Right. And they're always going to act in the interest of the company. Yeah, they talk a good one and they act a good one, acting like they looking out for you. They're not. They know who signs their checks. And no matter what, that's who they're working for at all times. Even when it looks like they cutting you a break, they ain't cutting you no break. They doing what they can do without getting themselves in any type of liable situation. But
that's why these new people do not care about these jobs. Like, they don't believe in that 2 weeks notice and all that. I don't even care about that anymore.
Well,
notice and all that, especially if I don't plan on going back or nothing. No.
Well, here's the thing: you don't know what or how your performance and or your relationship can affect you down the line, because you don't know who knows who. One thing we learned, one thing that me and Troy learned with doing comedy is, yeah, you can blow off, blow off certain comedians and promoters and all of that shit, but you don't know who they know, and you don't know who they might who might refer you or say, nah, they can't get no money over here. I don't give a fuck how funny the motherfucker is. Nope. Can't get no money over here. And that can affect you. And the same way that you can make the decision not to give 2 weeks notice is the same way that, okay, well, when you need a referral for another job, well, you can pretty much excess out of the equation. So as you start running out of brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends to act like you worked for it and write you a referral, then well, there's a reason you got to go to those people. Because you done burned bridges and fucked up your relationships with the actual professionals who may know people who work. Like, okay, I'm a manager. I've worked in a lot of different places. You shit on me. You don't realize I've worked for Aramark. I worked for Sodexo. I worked at Penn. I worked at Villanova. I know motherfuckers. I can make a phone call and you can be working in a week or two. So
I'm not talking about places you would go back and ask for a referral. I'm talking about places that you just like too. I'm just here.
What I'm saying, Kim, is there's never a reason. There's never a reason to act in an unprofessional way. There's never a reason for that because it ain't doing nothing for you. It ain't, and it don't take a lot. It don't take a lot of time to just go ahead and sever ties in a professional way. Because you just never know. Just like now, I mean, if you don't look at this in a personal way, you look at cats who have burned motherfuckers. You know what I mean? You know, burnt bridges or beat motherfuckers out of money. I ain't never going to need that motherfucker again. And you never know. Last year, no, 2023. 2023. I was looking for a floor tech, somebody who could strip and wax floors. You know, a floor tech. So I'm interviewing motherfuckers for this floor tech position. What happens? A cat that worked for me at University of Penn applied, and he said to me, "Hey, yo, the only reason I came down here is because I saw your name," and I was like, "I wonder if that's the same, if that's my old manager at Penn." Well, this motherfucker came down there smelling like weed. He ain't looked like he was dressed for no kind of interview for shit. You know what I mean? He had on like some jeans hanging on. I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm looking at this motherfucker like, if you thought it was me, you know how I roll. Why would you? That's what I'm thinking. I ain't say shit. I said, "Oh yeah, I remember you. Yeah, okay, cool." Because he was a floor tech down at the other joint. He was good. But I'm not hiring this motherfucker. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, hold on. When I was down at Penn, he never thought that we would cross paths again. Why would he? But guess what? We did. We did. And even if I wasn't going to, the problem wasn't that I wasn't going to give him a job. It's that I wouldn't refer him to anybody else. Motherfucker, you ain't no teenager or no 20-something. You know better. You don't come to no job interview. One of y'all got feedback. I can hear myself. You don't come to no job improperly dressed and smelling like weed and like you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck, neither do I. So I see why. And by the way, University of Penn was a union job. You know what you gotta do to lose that? Well, he lost it. And now he's looking for another job. And it ain't gonna be easy for him. But you know, I'm telling this story, I'm giving this example because there is a certain thing that people who can't keep a job, you know, first of all, their thinking is wrong because they keep making the situation all about them, and it's not. When I say, you know, you can't expect these jobs to care about you, I'm not saying that they don't, you know, they won't provide a way for you to be able to take care of yourself, but it's not personal. If it was personal, then it wouldn't be contractual. But if it's contractual, why not just keep it strictly by honor of the contract? This is what you are paid to do. You do that and you get paid. You go out, yo. One of y'all is yo. I'm hearing myself. The feedback is getting on my nerves.
I got my ear straight to the phone.
I look. All I know is I hear this shit.
My phone is just sitting there. I haven't done anything different. I don't have anything on or
Do
nothing.
you have us on speaker?
I do, but I've always had it on speaker all the time.
Well, this time, guess what? Because I don't hear it anymore. All gone. It go bye bye.
Just heard Kells.
So yeah, you know, like if you just honor the terms of the contract or whatever, you know, like y'all say, if we do this, we get paid. All right, so do that and get paid. You know what I'm saying? All the other entitlements and all of that kind of stuff you're going to be eligible for. But when you have the mentality that somebody has to care about you, or they have to love you, or they have to, you know, whatever, you're going to be starting over time and time again. And the one thing that I've learned from my experience of working is, if you can't follow the rules of somebody else for money, you can't implement your own either. It's as simple as that. If you're lazy for them, you'll be lazy for yourself. If you steal from them, you steal from yourself or your clients or whatever. You know what I mean? There's a certain practice that you have to have in order to keep a job for a long time. And that's one of the things that people who have worked at in places for years and years and years and decades and shit, they figured that out. Now, not all of them have had good salaries and great benefits, or even terrific work conditions, but they have figured out how to stay in a place that is giving them what they need or what they worked for, and found a way to stay there for a long time. And everybody can't do it. Not everybody is meant for that. But if you won't work hard for somebody else, you won't work hard for yourself. If you think being a boss is all about, you know, having your feet up and chilling and just pointing and directing people, you ain't no boss. That's not a boss. You know what I'm saying? That's not. That's a TV boss. And in real life, motherfuckers got work to do. And the relationships that you have with people in business is often reflective of the relationships that you have with people personally. Because what better reason is there to bust your ass than for money? If it's for love, you ain't got to bust your ass. This is pay. You know, it's funny. When I've worked in housekeeping, you know, I've heard people say like, yo, I would hate to see how they house look, you know what I mean? Because they don't clean good here or some shit. No. The people who they cleaning after, you know, they saying how dirty and nasty they are. I wonder how they house is. I'm like, their house might be immaculate. They don't get paid to clean. We do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Don't clean like it's your crib. You don't get no money for cleaning your house. Here you get money. So clean like you getting paid for it. And guess what? You will get paid. There's money in this industry just like it is any other industry. So but if you treat it like it's personal, or like, you know, like, oh, well, they gotta ask me to do something. They can't tell me what to do. Like, oh yeah. So you think a motherfucker is gonna pay you and have to ask you to do something? It's all in your thinking. Like, you got this shit fucked up. Because I know if we was talking about cutting your lawn, you're not gonna ask a motherfucker to cut your lawn that you just gave $50 to. Cut the fucking lawn. And here, I threw in another $20. Cut the hedges too. Ain't no asking shit. I ain't got to be nice to you. I just paid you. You don't like the way I talk to you? Give me some of the money back and I'll smile and laugh.
No,
No, I'm not.
It's not how much you paying me. You can't talk to me. When I worked in a place like that before, where this white man called me a nigger bitch, and he thought because he was signing my paycheck.
No, I'm not talking about that. That's a whole different situation. That's a whole different situation. We not talking about that. I think it's pretty clear what I'm talking about. It's not this ain't hard. This is easy math. This ain't nothing but addition and subtraction. What I'm saying is you can't make a job that you do for somebody else all about you. You're not working for you. You're working for somebody else. And if you can't, if working for somebody else means working for yourself to you, you're not going to be working for anybody else. So time after time, you're going to be going through this unemployment shit, this welfare shit, this on the job search shit. And that shit is a pain in the ass. And it works on your self-esteem. It does. And not in a good way either. Because at the end of the day, the job is telling you that no, I don't even want you to make no money for me. And that shit ain't really cool. But that's an adjustment that you should be able to make. The crazy thing about it is this. You know, I've always wished that problem employees, motherfuckers that really don't get it, when they get fired, I always hope that they have to not get a job for like a year. Because a year of struggling, borrowing, scraping, begging, and all of that. If your ass is dumb enough to do the same shit after a year of scrambling because you couldn't find another job, if your ass is dumb enough to do the same shit that got you fired in the last one, that's you, dog. That's you. Because most motherfuckers will come to their senses. Like somewhere around that 6 months. Like, yo, the next job I get, I'm a chill. I'm a fucking... But the thing is, you take yourself everywhere you go. You take yourself everywhere you go. So, you know, motherfuckers get a couple of paychecks under their belt and they revert right back to that bullshit. And then a few checks later, unemployed again. Because they didn't learn. There's a mentality to all of this shit. It's not about being abused. I mean, I don't let nobody just talk to me in any old kind of way. But I've learned to dumb down my sensitivities too. Because I don't feel like if a motherfucker get me fired, he won. Yeah, I can flip it and bounce it any kind of way. But at the end of the day, he took money out of my pocket and food out of my mouth. Not gonna happen.
Well, I know we running out of time, but can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, because I've come to grips that pride comes from the devil and humbleness comes from God, right? So when you humble yourself and you you're being professional, and then you get disrespected by one of your employees, right? But you get reprimanded because you didn't take the meeting for the employee that cursed you out and threatened you and wanted to fight you. He's still at the job working, and you no longer there. That doesn't, to me, it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth because you went through the chain of command. You went through corporate, you went through HR, you went through your supervisor. Even the general manager didn't do nothing to the guy.
Yeah.
He threatened.
I've been through a situation like that where a subordinate pushed me and I pushed him back, and because I was a manager, I got fired.
I didn't even push him back. I ain't say nothing to him.
Well, then there's no way you should have got fired. But don't get me wrong. I don't put up with no disrespect. I do not. So like One Love, One Life to Live said he says, so as a man, because I work for you, I have to put up with their disrespect. No, that and see, as black people, I know I can tell you black just because you asked that question. We got to get out of this thinking that everything is about respect and that equals up to your manhood. Let me tell you what a man does. A man finds a way to win. And the winner is the one that's still here. The loser goes home. So you didn't leave your house to come to a job to go home with no money. You left your home to come to a job, get paid, go home, wash, rinse, and repeat. So you can't allow somebody to take you off of your square and get you all up in your feelings to the point where you know what I mean, I don't know. Sometimes we got this thing where, especially women, their whole thing is you ain't gonna talk to me just any old kind of way. And that's true, but you don't have to say but you don't have to say that because it's not really gonna get you nowhere. You know what I mean? It might be better to document that shit. Even take your phone, record that shit. You got to be the smarter one. Present that to the right people. Well, this is what's going on here, and it seems to be a hostile work environment. What are y'all going to do about it? Put them in a position. Because all of that, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know what I mean? Now you done got fired or whatever. Well, yeah, that bitch ain't going to be talking to me any old kind of way. Yeah, but that bitch still working. And you got kids and shit, and you even your pride don't feel no better because you got the shit off your chest, but you was mad before you came to work anyway. So now you out of a job. The kids' Christmas and shit is fucked up. How is that a win? It ain't.
I think sometimes it's warranted and sometimes it's not. It can be two things at the same time. Every situation is not the same.
Well,
for sure.
Well, Kim, this show was not about one job that you lost. This was about motherfuckers who can't keep a job, and there's a certain toxic consistency with motherfuckers who can't keep a job and can't get a job. And it doesn't lie with everybody else. It's them. It's them. I worked in management long enough to see this shit time and time again. Like, rough road over here. This motherfucker, he's fucked up wherever he's been. He's fucking up now, and I'm about to get his ass on up out of here, and he's gonna go somewhere else and be fucked up again because he ain't learned. He think it's all about him. Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna give him a chance to do that. So anybody can lose a job. I'm talking about motherfuckers who can't keep a job and then can't get a job. Because every job they get on, they lose. They can't work. Motherfuckers too busy. I done work with motherfuckers that's too busy to work. You started work. Shit like you start a job, you knew you were starting a job on, let's say, the 30th of the month. You telling your job at the 7th of the month that you got a court date on the motherfucking 12th of the month. It clearly says that your probation period is 90 days. No absences, no infractions, no nothing. It clearly said that. Not only did it say it, and maybe you didn't read it, but they told you you are on probation. You are not a permanent employee. Now all of a sudden you want to make it all about me. Yeah, but I had a court date. What was I supposed to do? You knew you had the fucking court date when you got the job. Did you tell your hiring manager or HR or anybody that listen, I have I can start on this date, but on this day, I have something that I have to do and it's been in the works for a while. You don't have to tell them what it is, but let them know. No, you didn't let them know. You called out on that date and shit. And when the job, maybe the job was real strict and they was like, well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to let you go. It's the zero tolerance policy on attendance during your probationary period. And you all, oh, this is fucked up. See, that's why these jobs out here. No, motherfucker, it's you. It's you. You should have told them. You could have fixed all of that. Now, hopefully on the next job, you'll learn. But no, you're not going to learn on the next job because you ain't learned on this one. Somehow you think that everybody is supposed to accommodate you. And so, yeah, you can't keep a job and you can't get a job. You're not even smart. And then I don't even want to talk about the motherfuckers that think that they do their job so good and they really ain't shit. I don't even want to get into that. We'll be here all night. It's time for us to go. Do these birthday shout outs, get the fuck on up out of here. But yeah, I do shows like this and I talk this way because our people, especially so often, we don't fucking get it. We don't fucking get it. And then we look stupid in arguments and shit like that, and I hate to see it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's wrong. Black people, they think, and I'd be like, damn, you know what? That's some racist shit to say. But unfortunately, I've seen fucking examples of it. And I'm tired of that shit. You know what I mean? I don't see nothing wrong with getting over every now and then. Everybody do their little thing, blah, 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 blah. But have you learned to do it on the low? We in this age right now, especially our young people. They think everything is supposed to be out there on Front Street. They live in a fucking social media life at their job. Oh, why can't I use my phone? Why? Everybody use their... No, the policy say you can't use your phone. Put the fucking phone away. So your addiction to TikTok and Instagram or whatever is stronger than the job policies. Okay, well you gonna have all day from here on out to be on TikTok and Instagram. They gave you that. Your last check is this good thing. This happened at the beginning of the pay period. So the last check you got is the last check you gonna get. You got one more week coming. Holla, fuck out of here. It is what it is. It is what it is. You're not working for yourself. If you was working for yourself, you'd be broke. You got no discipline. None. And that's why you can't find a job and you can't keep one. Don't know how to fill out a job application properly. Don't know how to. I done seen motherfuckers' resumes. I'm like, I know they got spell check on the motherfucking device that you wrote this resume up on, right? I know they got that. They gotta have that. Shit like that. And shit like that. I mean, listen, I give motherfuckers the game all the time. But like my pop used to always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, that student ain't ready. My teachings will appear to them when they finally get ready. Because at some point you might not get tired of getting fired and having to move on, but your baby mom might, your wife might, your kids might, your landlord might, certain people that you just can't seem to control, certain people that don't give a fuck. Your landlord don't give a fuck about you either. I don't see you bitching about that, though. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. We got to get on about it here, y'all. I want y'all to have a good night. Thank y'all for calling in. do these birthday shout outs and get the fuck on up out of here. You couldn't have told me.
Have a good one. Stay safe.
That's what I'm talking about. You could have told me that I was going to be doing no overtime today. Tired, motherfucking tired. Son. All right, y'all. Holla back. All righty. All right, we have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious September 16th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. We get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. We get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. We get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Gwen Plater. Happy birthday to you. And also Shonda Janine Jones, Brandy Jones Wilson, Tashana Green, Talisa Jones Smith, Wakila Hurd, my girl Dana Lucas, Prince Muhammad L, Chase Lamar Smith, the comedian, Juanito George, and last but no, almost last, my uncle, my oldest living uncle. Let's see, my Uncle Willie, my dad would have been 88. So that means my uncle is 87. Do the damn thing. I said, do the damn thing. I said, I hope you good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit today. And many, many more. Keep going. That's inspiring. And also, last but not least, my girl from all the way back to 1985, Franklin Learning Center, my girl Sonia Small. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious September 16th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, listen. Shout out to all of the people who have been on jobs for 10 years plus, 15 years plus, 20 years on all the way up to however it goes. Hopefully you have found an industry, a career path, a job, a place of employment that has been enjoyable for you for that amount of time, because there aren't too many things that are that easy to stay in for that amount of time. And when you make that happen, it's a wonderful thing. What they say, what the Bible say, a man that finds a wife has found a good thing. Well, a man who has found a decent job found a good thing too. And maybe he can get a wife. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night, 2 a.m. in the morning. That's when we start doing our thing. Let me do the results of the poll before we bid ourselves farewell. What do you think is the main reason that people have stayed on jobs for 15 years or more? The majority of people, which is 42%, say that the pay and benefits are good. Interesting. 25% says it's the only job that they know. 28%? 28% say they are complacent or it's the location. Interesting answers here. And a mere 6% said that's what they went to school for. Interesting. So most people believe that the pay and benefits are good, and that's why people have stayed at jobs. And it's funny, man, because I've known people who have worked at jobs for 20 and 30 years, and the pay was not good. Some jobs took 20 years for the pay to get competitive. So imagine what it was like 20, 30 years ago. He was working for peanuts. As a matter of fact, the elephants in the zoo getting fed peanuts was probably doing better than you. But man, sometimes people get their hustle on and they find ways to, keep the food on the table, the roof overhead, and even pull off some good birthdays, Christmases, and other holidays, even vacations. You never know how people will make that money stretch, Plastic Man style. I'm going to thank y'all for coming through, man. Once again, peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all. And love y'all right back to life. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. See y'all tomorrow, 2 a.m. Thanks once again. Holla. All right.